Season. It really is. You want to be able to see the best players in the court every night and have everyone healthy, but um, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen the way we want it most times, and so here we are now, and Morant is going to be out for what will probably at least be over a month. Maybe it'll be shorter. It could be very well much longer, but best of luck and wishes to him in his recovery, and hopefully we could see him back on the court as soon as possible. If Memphis Grizzlies were able to stick it out for him last night and win over Brooklyn, given it was a Brooklyn team that did not have Kyrie Irving and did not have Kevin Durant last night. However, Cabarrot started after not really playing too much and played 41 minutes last night with 21 points. And Kerstler had 28 of his own in the starting lineup. Similar to the production he was putting up last season when he was starting. For Memphis, their two forwards came up trumps for them. Dylan Brooks had 24 points, Kyle Anderson had 28, both with 7 rebounds apiece. JV had 14 and 14, Brandon Clark had 16 and 7 off the bench. Tyus Jones played 35 minutes. With Morant going down, he ended up playing most of the point guard minutes after that. And so a good win for them. And nice to see the team win after having their all-star point guard go down. I don't know, he doesn't have an all-star appearance yet, but he's a star in this league. Call him an all-star. But moving along. This is pain. We're going to move to something that's a little bit less pain, although I suppose if you're a Lakers fan, probably not happy with this team last night. But nonetheless, Portland Trailblazers, led by Damian Lillard last night, were able to beat the LA Lakers 115 to 107. Which, in this weird start to the season, I know it's only 4 games in, the schedule's been different, some teams have played harder teams. But you've got the Bucks losing record, Celtics losing record, Raptors losing record, Lakers now 2-2. A lot of weird records going on, man. Probably doesn't mean too much. It's probably just the weird schedules at the start of the season, people easing into the season. Some of these guys, especially with the Lakers, that have had short turnarounds, that now are kind of coasting a little bit more into the start of the season, not playing as hard. But nonetheless, I am high on this Portland team. I think they're a very good team. I think there's a lot to like about this team. And I think they're probably the best of the rest. And behind, well, I was going to say they're the best of the rest and behind the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Nuggets. I think them and Dallas are the 2 teams in behind them that can actually compete with those teams. And then there's a bunch of teams in behind them kind of fighting for seeds 6 to 10. And I think those seeds could go in many directions, and I don't think any of those teams in any of those seeds are actually a threat to any of the teams that are going to finish 5-1, as I just mentioned. Because I think that Portland's biggest issue last season was stealth in terms of their injuries picked up early in the season, and Yusuf Nurkic already being out for most of the season from an injury the previous year. And so that certainly played its part. But now they have that back, and they have wing depth, which they haven't had on this team since they lost Mo Harkless and Alfred Camino a few years ago. And then they went out and got Derek Jones Jr. and Robert Covington in the offseason. And all these guys played well offensively, yet, but their defense has been ever present. And I'm sure the shooting will come for them as good 3-D guys. It hasn't come yet, but I'm sure they will start to find their shooting touch eventually. But nonetheless, Damian Lillard had 31 points last night. J.J. McCollum had 20. And Gary Trent had 28 off the bench, shooting 7 of 11 from deep. And that was enough to get them over the Lakers. AD didn't have a great game last night. He only took 14 shots. He hit 6 of those, got 13 points and 10 boards with 5 assists. LeBron had 29, 9 and 6 last night on 55% shooting. That wasn't enough to get them over the hump. KCP had a good game with 14, and Schroeder had a good game with 24. Kuzma shot 2 of 9. Montrezl Harrell only had 9 points. Wesley Matthews only had 2 off the bench. And I didn't really get anything much from anyone else. And it just wasn't enough to get them over the hump against this Portland team. I like this Portland team, man. I wouldn't be surprised if you see them finish as a 4 or 5 seed. I think that's where they slot in my opinion. But moving along to the best passing center in the league, and who broke his own record of assists last night, is Nikola Jokic. That's a team that beat a Houston team fairly comfortably last night at 124 to 111, and it was a Houston team that also outscored Denver by 10 in the fourth quarter. So Denver went into the fourth quarter leading by 23. So the scoreline indicates a closer game than it really was. Michael Porter had 14 points along with 9 rebounds. One of his more efficient scoring nights of the season, although it was only 45% from deep and 45% from the field and 33% from deep. However, it was one of his more efficient shooting nights. Millsap contributed very heavily last night with 19 points. Jokic dropped 19, 12 rebounds, and 18 assists, which was a new record for him in assists. He also hit 1 3 to go along with it. Gary Harris had 14 points of his own. Jamal Murray had 21. Will Barton had 11, and London Morris had 12. It was a good distributed effort last night offensively, helped by the ever-presence of his passing in Nikola Jokic. That is so valuable for this team, and as it would be so valuable for any team. And he's just a special talent, man. I don't think we'll see a talent like him come around for a long time. You don't see that many of passers of his quality at any position normally. And to have that level of passing ability and vision at the center position is just so rare. And he puts up assist numbers like a point guard. Imagine if he was a point guard. He would be obliterating the assist records, man. So full shout out to Nikola Jokic. He played very well last night. And on the Houston side, shout out to Christian Wood, man. I had my doubts. I knew he balled out really well with Detroit last year at the end of the season. Had a little good games, but I was doubtful whether that was going to continue, how real those stats were, how legitimate that would be to him producing on another team and another season and another system, all those types of things. But hey, he dropped 23 points again last night. He only had 3 rebounds. That part of his game doesn't work. But 23 points on 45% shooting and 4 or 5 from deep, you can't ask for anything more out of your center position. And so full shout out to him. He is earning his money and is probably going to be on one of the best value contracts in the league if he continues at this rate. James Harden himself had 34 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. So he keeps playing well, but they weren't able to get much else from anyone else. They're still playing without John Wall, still without Eric Gordon, still without Marcus Cousins. And so that's showing with the fact that they had to start David Nwaba. And that's having its effects on that team. And another loss for them last night to that Denver team. Utah able to beat OKC. I don't really want to touch on Utah other than the fact that Utah should be able to beat what is one of the worst teams in the league by more than 1 point. But I will say this about OKC. I would be very excited if I'm an OKC fan. I know you guys suck right now, and you're not excited about this season. And that's fair. You guys have a lot of good seasons upcoming. This man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's going to be an all-star. I have no doubts in my mind. He is an elite defensive guard with his length at that position. He can create for others, and that is going to continue to develop this season with him now being the only point guard in that backcourt as opposed to having Chris Paul. His three-point shot does need work, but that can be improved, and his ability to get to the rim and finish at the rim with his length is very good. He's already hitting game winners for you this season. And the fact that the matter is, his backcourt duo mate, an undrafted guy in his second year, is better than him defensively and is hitting threes again already this season, and that is Lu Dort. And if you can have a defensive backcourt of Lu Dort and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with their offensive production, that is going to be a very good backcourt within the future. And let's not mention your 21 first-round picks you have to deal with. So GG's to OKC. You guys are doing a rebuild, right? And I think there's a lot to look forward to there. The last game of the night was the Atlanta Hawks and the Detroit Pistons. And, yeah, I mean, there we are. Trae Young is balling out. No more needs to be said about Trae Young. Trae Young is just balling out. If the season ended today, he would probably be the MVP. Now, season's not ending today, and will Trae Young be the MVP? That remains to be seen. But he got another 29 points last night with 6 assists, shooting 6 of 13 from the field, 2 of 6 from deep. Cam Reddish contributed with 11 and 7. Clint Capella was back in his first game on a minutes restriction, but back from his Achilles injury for his first game. He's going to be very important to this team. He put up 7 points and 9 rebounds. Collins had 15 and 5. DeAndre Hunter had 11 and 6. So a good distributed effort from everyone all around. Rajon Rondo was back in his first game with the team as well. He had 12 points. Solomon Hill had 12 points. Kevin Huerter had 9, and Bogdan Bogdanovic had 17. And Danilo Gallinari was out due to injury last night. But I think this does give us a pretty good indication as to what the starting lineup is going to be for this team. It already has been said that Danilo Gallinari is going to come off the bench. And so with Clint Capella back now, it looks like it is going to be DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish starting with Bogdan Bogdanovic coming off the bench. Bogdan Bogdanovic played more than Cam Reddish last night, did not play more than DeAndre Hunter. But it looks like that's going to be the starting lineup to roll with. And I wouldn't be surprised then to see Bogdan come in over Cam Reddish in the closing minutes. But that's what it looks like it is going to be to me. At DeAndre Hunter playing 32, Cam Reddish playing 26, Bogdan playing 30, and Kevin Huerter playing 28. They do have some good players that can play minutes in those roles. Solomon Hill played 21 minutes as well. So have some good players in those 2 and 3 spots that can soak up some minutes for them and do some really good production. That's not to mention the fact that Danilo Gallinari was also out last night. So off that bench, they're going to have Bogdan Bogdanovic, Kevin Huerter, Rajon Rondo, Chris Dunn, if they want to get him in the rotation, Danilo Gallinari, and Solomon Hill. That is a very good bench on a team that has a very good starting lineup. I'm interested to see how Clint Capella can affect this team. Once he gets to play 30-35 minutes a night, the pick and roll game and the lobs with him and Trae Young. He already had 2 blocks last night in 20 minutes, so it's already a much of an improvement defensively. So I like what I see with this Atlanta team. But most importantly was last night, and what was most impactful to me as a fan, pain. Sucks to see, man. I was looking forward to see John Morant ball out this season. Hopefully it's not long, and hopefully we still get to see him and Jaren Jackson Jr. ball out together this season. But that's my takeaways from last night's games. OKC looked great. Utah need to improve. Donovan Mitchell has had some frustrating performances, and that needs to be fixed. Jokic is insane, and Trae Young is the best player in the league in current form this season. Will that continue? Probably not. But right now he's the best player in the league based on how he's playing. So that is my thoughts on the NBA as of yesterday. And feel free to leave your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.